This is a BMX bike buying guide. So let's get right into it. The first thing you want to know when you're gonna buy a bike is what kind of riding you want to do. So the four main Bmx types is there's flatland, which is you have four pegs and it's like a lot of manual tricks and it's basically like flat ground stuff. And then there's street, which is like grinding and doing rails and stuff. And then there's park, which is kind of, my bike's, this one right here, is kind of a mix of park and street. So park is basically like riding ramps and doing stuff like that and riding in skate parks. And then there's racing, which is completely different. I don't know anything about racing. I'm sorry if you want to race, I can't help you. 21.5. What? So the first thing you want to look at for the bike you're going to buy is the sizing. So if you're shorter or younger and you want to start out on a smaller bike, you want to look for a complete that has 18-inch wheels. These wheels are 20-inch diameter. Yeah, that's something that's important. And also the top tube length. So the top tube length is just the length from the seat post to the front of the bike. And typically it's going to be somewhere around 19 inches to like 22 inches. So if you're tall and big, you're going to want, like if you're like 6 feet, you're going to want to get something that's like 21 or 21.5. That's what I have, and I like it a lot. A lot of people don't like to ride my bike though that are shorter, so if you are shorter, you're going to want to get something that's closer to 20.5 or like 20 inches, and it'll just serve you better and it'll fit you. So another 2 tips that I have when you're looking for a complete bike, make sure you check the weight of the bike, especially if you're buying it online, which I recommend you do. I don't think you should buy from, unless you have a BMX shop that's like dedicated to BMX only, don't try and buy a BMX bike from like a store that sells cruisers or something, because it's not going to be a good bike, I can promise you, because that's what I did and it was awful. So don't do that. Buy online if you can, unless you have a local BMX shop. When you look for the bike, make sure you know the weight. An average weight, like a good weight for a complete bike, should be about 25 pounds. So that's probably where you want to be. And I'm assuming that your price range is around $300 to $500. So if it's more, then you can look for a lighter bike with better components, but I'm basing this video on you buying a bike that's like from $300 to $500. So yeah. Instead of looking for a colors that you like on the bike, I know color schemes can be cool and whatnot, but make sure that you know what you're buying. So if you want to ride park, make sure that it's a little bit of a lighter bike and that it has a cassette and not a free coaster. And if you're going to be riding street, what you're going to want is a bike that's more it's more oriented towards like street, obviously. So a bike that comes with pegs and has a free coaster probably would be better, and maybe 4-piece bars if you want to be super street. So for the street bikes, it's important that you look for pegs, because pegs can cost you a lot. They're like $20 each, and then if you have to buy hub guards too, that can cost you like $150. So make sure you look for pegs and hub guards. Some other things to look for when you're buying a bike that are pretty important is the quality of the components. So when you look at parts like the frame and the forks, you want to try and get something that's chromoly, because it's lighter and it's stronger than a lot of other metals. And then when you look at cranks, you want to make sure they're 3-piece cranks, because they're stronger and they last longer and they look better than 1-piece. So what 3-piece crank means is that so there's the spindle, which is the part that goes through. There's a spindle, which is the part that goes through the bottom bracket on both sides, and that's what the cranks are screwed into. So there's the spindle, and then there's both cranks, which that makes up the 3 pieces. And so the cranks on either side screw into the spindle, and on one side it's gonna have a part that screws into your sprocket. And also, when you're looking at a bike, make sure that you get a sealed bottom bracket, because if the bottom bracket is the piece that has the bearings that allow the cranks to move forward. And so if you don't get a sealed one, what could end up happening is that you get dirt in there and it becomes crunchy and it becomes hard to ride, and it's just going to feel better and last longer if it's sealed. So look for sealed bottom bracket, 3-piece cranks, and chromoly parts. So just to finish up, I'll tell you a few brands that are good and what you're going to need to do to set up the bike. So when they send it to you, it's probably going to be, I do recommend ordering it online, because you just have more options and you'll know what you're buying a little more than if you were to buy a random bike at a bike shop. I know I mentioned the sealed bottom bracket, but you should also look for sealed bearings in the hubs, because that will also stop them from getting crunchy and dirty. Some brands to look for with completes are Sunday makes pretty good ones, and they make like more street bikes if you want to look for that. And then Fit has good completes, Colt has good completes. Oh yeah, We the People makes good bikes if you're looking for one too. I'll put a few links to bikes that I would recommend in the description. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you liked the video. And I have a video of me unboxing one of this bike actually, and putting it together. So if that helps you and you need to learn how to put together a bike, then I'll put the link to that either in a card or in the description too. So thank you for watching. I hope this video helps you get a bike, and please subscribe.